Hello, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Good to see you all. I'm sure there will be others joining us in a minute, but we want to get things started on time here because we have a terrific conference planned for you this morning. So I'm Tony Bernardo. I'm the Dean at UCLA Anderson. It's my pleasure to welcome you all to the 2025 Innovate Tech Conference. This year's focus is on innovation in a tech-driven world, which is transforming how we live, work, and learn in really unprecedented pace and scope. A few months back, we had a conference on tech and society, and it really drove home the point that, for example, while there are limitless possibilities, it seems, with AI, we also have to be concerned about the potential consequences, some that we may be able to foresee and some that are unintended. And that's extremely important, particularly for a school that's part of a great public university with a public mission. As many of you know, at Anderson, our strategic objectives are around developing transformative leaders. And we really think there are two broad sets of capabilities when we think of leaders who can really transform organizations. The first set of capabilities are around solving complex business problems. And of course, every dean will tell you that's what we train our students to do. But we believe that solving complex business problems increasingly is going to be around being able to understand the power of data and both its power and limits, and the really transformative role that technologies, particularly AI, are going to play in business decision-making going forward. So solving complex business decisions is a core capability that we want to develop in the school. But it's not just enough to be able to diagnose a business problem. It's also critical, and this is the second broad set of capabilities, to be able to catalyze action within an organization. And we believe that that involves innovative and creative thinking, collaboration, and developing organizations that are inclusive, driven, and purposeful. And again, these are all capabilities that we believe it's critical to develop in the time our students are here, and increasingly beyond. Part of our strategic plan is around developing lifelong learning programs that help our alumni navigate some of the challenges that they're facing in their careers and also in their personal lives. And with that same sense of sensibility, we've set a goal at Anderson to be a catalyst in the Southern California innovation ecosystem. And that's why we're particularly grateful that you're all here today. So we have a tremendous conference ahead of us this morning. We have incredible speakers. Each of them are innovators and transformative leaders in their own right. But before I turn the podium over to Terry Kramer, who'll share more about today's agenda, I want to take this opportunity to thank Terry and his team in the Easton Technology Management Center for organizing the conference today, but much more than that, for fully embracing this strategic priority that we have at the school to really understand both the positive and potential negative consequences of the technologies that are emerging today. And they do that through innovative courses, research, workshops, events like this, and immersion programs around the world. So thank you, Terry and your team, for putting today's program together. I also want to give a special shout out to the Technology Business Association at Anderson. We affectionately know them here as Andertech, for all their great work in supporting events like this and helping us put on these extraordinarily informative events and connecting our students to leaders in the technology industry really every day. So thank you, Andertech, for the role that you're playing. So again, please enjoy the conference today. It's extraordinarily timely and important, and I hope you have a great morning. And now I'll hand it over to Terry. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Tony.
Yeah.
Big thank you.
Yeah.
You know, and I want to just thank Tony again and call out transformative leaders. Because, you know, you always hear about what a strategy is and a framework for leadership. I can't think of a better environment to apply it than in a tech-based world. We're going to talk about artificial intelligence and the type of changes and transformations that are required across an organization is absolutely imperative. The focus of this conference specifically today is going to be looking at technology-based innovation that affects products and services. We're going to focus very deeply on that. What are the new products and services? How are they different than what were original products and services? How do you think about that level of innovation, et cetera? And we're going to specifically within that focus on AI, artificial intelligence and how that has changed products and services. It's fascinating to see, even in the span of 6 to 9 months, the type of announcements that have been made, the performance of AI-based models, the reduction of hallucination rates, et cetera. Still work in progress, but lots and lots of capabilities today, and that, I think, is why we're seeing so much more activity. If you look at the number of sectors and applications, it's quite profound. If you look in areas of enterprise software, and we're going to hear from Marianne Patel in a minute here from Salesforce, but if you look at enterprise software, we're seeing now on CRM over 80 billion transactions and predictions every single day, understanding what a customer wants, needs, and how a company responds to it. We're seeing in content generation, solutions like ChatGPT, Google's Gemini service, et cetera, that create new levels of interactions. We see chatbots. We look at Conmigo in the education world, having an AI-based tutor, and how that is changing a lot of activities. And company strategy itself is changing. So when you look at the stats today and you ask business leaders, what percent of you are using AI in what you're doing now? How many of you have got AI initiatives? It's over 2/3 now of companies are saying AI is part of what they're doing. That number was a fraction of that earlier. So just to tag on again to Tony's message about transformative leaders, if you look in the tech arena at the different elements of transformative leaders, being tech savvy, understanding how the technology works is a very important requirement. Being a creative problem solver. Many of the products and services we're seeing have a lateral creative aspect to them that they're changing the nature of a product. Being adaptive, so being able to do experiments matters a lot. And thinking about the ethical considerations. What can go wrong? How do you design products to ensure they create the true gain and don't create harm? So in terms of the program then today, in just a minute, we're going to have Marianne Patel here. She's the head of Sales Cloud for Salesforce. She's a senior vice president in product management, and she's going to talk all about what they're offering and how that's changing the nature of the enterprise itself, how companies understand consumer needs and how they think about what solutions are there. We're going to have a panel discussion that have got two thought leaders, David Sasaki, who's the head of analytics at OpenAI, and Ganesh Shankar, who's director of product management at Google. And they're going to talk about what OpenAI and Google are doing related to product innovation, et cetera. And then finally, we're going to have a keynote with Gail Carpenter. She's the CFO of Amazon Stores. And she's going to talk about how Amazon is using AI in all parts of the business, both customer facing, but also how it works into their transportation and logistics. She will also talk about imperatives for MBAs and even our alums. What are the skills required today to do well? As we go through all of these sessions, I would suggest thinking about several things, because everything we're trying to do at the Easton Center at Anderson is to make sure we're really boosting our mental software, our leadership software. Encourage you to think about several things here. Number one, how is the technology changing products and services? That's a fundamental kind of question of products changing and in what way. Second area is how is it changing enterprises? How do you compete in this environment successfully? We often hear the term disruption disruptions. Many companies that do not go on a digital transformation end up going away at some point. Not great. New players come in. The most successful companies, as well as individuals, create long shelf lives, meaning they can adapt to these changes and create positive outcomes. Also, to think about what can go wrong and how do you ensure good product delivery that, again, benefits society. So that'll be our schedule. So let me now shift over to our first session, and I want to introduce Sai Kormai, who's going to be our moderator here. Sai's got an incredible background in several areas. He's the VP of Product for Attentive, which really is a leader in that communication with consumers. And he'll describe it in a little bit more detail. But he leads the product effort that focuses on personalized communications to customers of all types, being able to understand what they need, when they need, et cetera. He's got a great background. Prior to that, he was Director of Product Management at Google and dealt with many of the safety and fraud prevention tools, both for end consumers, 5 billion consumers, thinking about how do you minimize fraud, and thinking about it at a company level, how to prevent attacks on a variety of websites. Most specific to us at Anderson, we are delighted. He's an instructor of ours. He teaches our course Focus on how AI is changing the practice of management across the entire enterprise. He's also been thinking about a potential new course on digital transformations. How do established companies have to think about a digital journey that they're on, and what are some of the strategic steps that can be taken? Sai's got a great academic background. He's got a bachelor's degree in computer science from the University of Washington and an MBA from Harvard Business School. Please join me in welcoming Sai Kormai.